cheers and enjoy the beers. Yes, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and welcome once again to the channel with me, Disco, coming at you with some more live beer reviews from in front of the cans and bowls here on the bar. Oh, I'm still freely calling the Disco Arms, and once again, I'm completely underprepared and not ready, despite the fact this stream went up an entire week ago, and I haven't got my stuff to go up properly, so I'm just going to crash through these beers. I was going to try and do a kind of a short stream tonight, so I've got a couple of smallish beers. Nothing too amazing, but well, that's not fair. Sorry, nothing too massive is what I mean, apart from the last one, which is a massive beer. Yeah, so let's crack straight onto it. And get a beer in a glass to see what we find, and then explain why I'm calling this a free beer. Well, it's obvious actually, that is because all these beers have been given to me by various people. But first of all, beer number one, please. Still haven't got that sorted out. Yeah, beer number one, tiny 330ml can, as you can probably see on there, from a brewery called Harbour down in Cornwall. Fairly recognisable thing. I've been around a bit. I had a couple of beers from them here and there. This one is called, I remember the banner. There we go. Hampton Madness, 4.3% IPA. Let's get in a glass. I'll tell you how I came about being given this beer. It's been sitting in my stash a while, so it's quite lively. Explain the bubbles on the top, but never mind. Yeah, not unexpectedly. It's bubbling into the stash. So what we'll do, we'll put that down there. We'll keep topping up, and then we'll get around to doing the photograph. I'll have a look at the date in a bit. I don't know how long it's been sitting around. But yeah, it's because I've given to me by some good friends of mine. You know, I like beer. Very same friends. If you'll remember the video a month or two back. No, it was just over a month now. Entitled "I Have Never Bought a Beavertown." No, it was called. It wasn't called that at all. It was about not having actually ever bought a Beavertown beer. But it was called. Yeah, it's basically my first ever. This is how bad I am. I'm getting bad now. I'm forgetting beer names. But I've never had this beer. I'm not surprised. I've never necked a neck oil was the name of the video. And that'll be up there. I can't remember which side it is now, but yeah, I'll try and that one. Yeah, I'll try and put that up in the corner. You can always go and have a look after the event of me trying for the first time, not quite the first Beavertown beer as such, but yeah, definitely the first neck oil and first actual Beavertown beer on its own as such. Yeah, so they gave me those beers, and I did that little video just to sort of get it out of the way, really. They also gave me this little can because Hampton, in this case, is Hampton Football Club, oddly up here in, well, not quite, just outside of Southwest, just outside of London. Acute observers will recognise madness as a condition that affects Hampton and Richmond FC supporters when following the Beavers in battle home and away. We cannot but admire those brave enough to tempt fate for 90 minutes and put their every high and low in the hands of the squad that they so madly support. In honour of over 100 years of loyal support from the Hampton community and beyond, lest Richmond diehards take offence, and as an ode to the shared passion that overwhelms the Beavery faithful at 3 p.m. every Saturday, Harbour Brewing Co. and Hampton and Richmond FC have named this refreshing beverage the Hampton Madness IPA. Best enjoyed ice cold, what it is today, and in good company, you guys, if anybody walks up, and in view of the Beavery pitch, or Beaver doing its thing in nature. Well, I've got a connection to Beaver being, we actually brew a beer called Beaver, but I guess Hampton and Richmond, for whatever reason, are called the Beavers. Yeah, Hampton Richmond Football Club. Can't say I've ever been, but a friend of mine is somehow connected to them. and gave a beer to my mates who gave me the Beavertown beer. So I thought, well, a fairly quick stream tonight, so I'll stick with what I put up last week, and yeah, 2 330s and a 440 stout, a big Imperial stout to finish as well. So yeah, I don't expect this one to be any particular madness or particularly amazing, but from Harbour, as we know, decent ales, so a decent IPA, I would think. Yeah, it has been sitting in the stash a while, so it's fairly lively. Not the brewery's fault. Not entirely my fault. It has been sitting around a while since I was given it in the summer, trying to get this sort of stream together, I guess. Can't even flick the foam off. So yeah, I generally don't think it's the fault of the brewery or anything like that, or that it's a bad beer. I know I said like last week on that pumpkin stream about that Brew York. I pretty much slated that Brew York pumpkin beer because it looked sort of a bit flat and a bit lifeless. This one, quite the opposite, and I don't think it's the brewery's fault necessarily. I'm sure the beer's fine. Looks perfectly decent, kind of pale ale, hazy. Well, they call it an IPA, but I've always thought of 4.3% as really being a session IPA or a pale ale, but they've called it madness, so they've called it an IPA. Why not? If anybody is in or watching along afterwards, do let me know what you're drinking to accompany this stream. I was going to head off at 10 o'clock and go somewhere else on the internet to watch some other madness, but that probably blatantly won't happen, really. I'll tell you all about that later on the last beer. I'm going to get a spoon, bear with. Not because I'm particularly bothered about the aesthetic, it's just a time thing, really. Got to do the can balance on a can of madness. Hopefully it looks pretty mad. It doesn't, it just looks a bit pretentious, but I like doing it anyway, so because these things amuse me, if I can get it balanced properly. Ta-da, there we go. So still a bit lively, but there you go. There's not sure what's going on at the moment. I'll step off the screen and do the photograph for the Instagram in the morning. Might not actually do it in the morning, might do it at some point, like I did the ones this afternoon over on Instagram. If you're not following on Instagram, I want some additional content and the extra write-ups of these after the event. I don't do that much additional content anymore over there. It's mostly just the write-ups of the beer I've drunk on stream. But there we go. That's what we use Instagram for. And general communicating with people, really. There we go. So yeah, do let me know what you've got in a glass if you're watching along after the event. Or drinking along now. Always like talking about beer. Y'all know that. Yeah, still fairly lively. Let's see. Let's get the elephant in the room 0924. Bless you, Duncan Zoe, for that. Yeah, so bang out of date, but that liveliness suggests there's still some life in it. So it's not. Hello? Focus. Right. So it suggests there's still a bit of life in the beer. There's a bit of carbonation. I can't see any like yeast deposits or nothing sitting in the bottom of the can. It's all good. All good. Brewed at Harbour down in Cornwall. Yeah, I'm still not sure quite how they get that all the way from deepest Cornwall to Hampton and Richmond in the southwest of London, but I'd love to know how these things come about. I imagine first it was a rugby connection, but it definitely does say FC, so Hampton and Richmond Football Club. I believe it's on the bar there. You can get pints of it, or you could. It would have been season before last now, 9/24. Yeah, no, last season. So yeah, a perfectly decent looking 4.3%. I would say session IPA, but they've called it Madness, so why not go full Madness and call it just an IPA? Yeah, Hampton Madness from Harbour. Let's see what we get. Yeah, nice pale ale kind of malt note on the nose with a little bit of fruit. First thing I thought was pineapple. That might not be the case because my nose is already blocking up in the cold for this evening, but it smells okay. Nothing untoward. So a little bit lively because it's been sitting around for a while. See what we get. Cheers. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, so it starts off a little bit of pineapple. Very, very faint. I think it has faded a little. There's a little butteriness there, which I've often thought is an off flavour in something like that, but it doesn't taste too bad. It tastes like a pineapple fritter almost. Like I say, didn't check before the date. I just put it in the fridge and cracked on with it. I think a pint of that on match day, 4.3, solid accompaniment to the football. I don't know what league Hampton and Richmond are in. I wonder if you can have a beer whilst watching the match. I occasionally go down Harbour, which must be in a similar sort of league. I'm sure we've played Hampton and Richmond. We've certainly played over that way a few times, Walton and stuff like that. So I can't remember. Not that you can have a beer. Sorry, not you can get caught having a beer pitchside at Harbour. Doesn't mean I don't, but you know, I didn't once. Yeah, but in the bar, before, during, and afterwards, decent, light enough. I'll still say a session IPA. Caught out a little bit there by the date. But as I say, dates are nominal. It's not suddenly like, you know, it's not suddenly like, doesn't suddenly go off, doesn't go black, doesn't like, you know, there's a small amount of hop fade. I think it's quite a light one anyway, so it's not a massively over heavily hopped IPA. It doesn't deign to say any further information as to the consist of the beer or the hop notes, so I can't necessarily get any notes there, but they're perfectly drinkable for a year-old beer. A year and more, I guess. In fact, it would have been brewed. It's weird. A date of 9/24 must have been brewed like 4, 5, 6 months prior to that, so it was brewed for the end of the previous season. Unless they put a year's date on it, in which case it's even older. But yeah, no, there's a little bit of pineapple cubes note there, a little bit of pineapple fritters going on. I think that slight buttery note might denote the age as well. but perfectly drinkable. I'm smashing it down. I'm going back for it. There's no, like I say, there's no spiky hop note, no grapefruit. And it's not going to make me ill, despite being normally out of date. But yeah, smash it back fair quick. Let's have a look. Didn't look too much information about this. I forgot to look up Harbour. Harbour Brewing. It's not on their website. Currently in the shop, obviously. Yeah, can't find any more information about it than that, to be fair. I was just looking on the website. Can't find anything else on it. It's on Untapped, of course. Let's have a look on there. They normally use Untapped. There's a 3.5 rating on there, and I see some pictures of pints of it at a football rather than just cans. So can't get on Untapped to show you because I'm not signed in. I don't even think I have a sign in for Untapped. Rasko used to have one for Rasko Disco, but I never bothered. But yeah, nice little. It's not quite. I don't quite call it a collab. I just put Hampton and Richmond's name to it. But yeah, as a pitch side, as a beer. Oh, those beers were pitch side as well. Yes, you get it on the bar. If it's still there, what date was that? Rampant mustard. See, I don't know my way around Untapped. Oh, excuse me. See? Oh, right. So it does say light IPA rebadged for Hampton FC, so it's probably their standard IPA with a different name on it. But again, that also doesn't matter. As it's perfectly decent light IPA. See, still got a certain amount of freshness to it, even though there's probably some hop fade there. Kind of like pineapple notes, a little bit of tropical, a little bit of citrus going on. But yeah, I do think there's a slight buttery note there, which denotes age as well. Not the brewery's fault. Say, I got it. Well, I only got given it 9 months after that best before date, but it's all good fun. But a perfectly drinkable beer, to be fair. Smash that down easy enough. Yeah. Cheers, Adam. Cheers, Adam, for that one. Yeah, nice little IPA to start a session. A fair shortened session for this one, for this Monday club. So we shall dive straight in to Beer number 2, please. Yeah, beer number 2. Actually moving down the AVB, but moving on up the darkness scale onto a milk stout from a pretty decent brew coder over in East London. Had 1 or 2 of their beers before, including Disco Nut, which is decent brown ale. I keep meaning to get an order out of them. I just never quite get around to it. I want to try their I Could Get Better in Tesco for £1, which I think could rival that one because it's a fairly low alcohol pale ale. I think not low alcohol, but lowish, like 4s. I'll have a look on their website in a minute. Let's get this in to a London glass and see what we get. We change the banner first. I've got nobody to remind me today to do banners. There we go. Yeah, it's called Employee of the Month. It's a 4% milk stout. Let's have a look, see what we got. Do you know what? That's quite thick and kind of slightly oily for a 4% milk stout compared to some of the bigger stouts we had last week. And I've forgotten again, rattling away. Oh, just about do the can balance. Bear with me a second whilst I do the photograph. So probably not unexpectedly, the slightly bubbly head development, which dissipates slightly disappointingly quickly. And again, as I said last week, I think it might be a little too cold for a stout. But no matter, we shall persevere anyway, because you know I like a stout. I'd also like it to focus. Don't quite know why that's cartoonified it, but it's at least got it kind of there. So yeah, we'll deal with that. We'll get a little bit of extra head development on a second pour. So on the whole, the beers I've had from Pretty Decent have indeed been pretty decent. There you go. And vitalised. Head development there. Yeah, so 4% stout. Nothing too much aroma-wise. Feels like a little bit of coffee in there. Let's chuck it down my neck, see what we got. Cheers. Yeah. Yeah, a little bit lively again, I think, as the cold effect warms up a little. As jolly decent stout in there. It's not particularly light or watery, like for a 4%. It's got a little bit of cocoa, a little bit of coffee in there. I'm getting Kit Kat weirdly, just a regular Kit Kat, milk chocolate Kit Kat, because there's a little bit of kind of wafery background in there. Less chocolate than maybe a Kit Kat. It's not out and out chocolate, but it's kind of got all those kind of right notes. Yeah, definitely a little bit of a kind of lactose sweetness as well. Yeah, nice sweetness. Yeah, like I say, a little bit not disappointed as such by that kind of head dispersion like that. I want it to be a little bit creamy and milkier on the top there so that it helps with the mouthfeel. But yeah, definitely some kind of wafer biscuit going on. Really off a tan coloured head going on it. Yeah, but it just sort of dissipates, which, as I said last week, sort of doesn't help for me. But there we go. Yeah. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the can first of all. Like I say, I was given to this again, kind of over the summer, I think. It's given to me by a fantastic chap from over East London who works with a lot of breweries over in East London. Indeed, Imperial comes over every now and again. Bought us a couple of cans. He bought me that Hackney Church can, the Wheatos IPA, the chocolate IPA, because he knows I like the dark stuff. So he bought me a can of this as well. So thanks, John the Poacher. Check him out on Instagram. There's a lot of foraging walks over in East London. It's also been on various YouTube channels talking about kind of foraging and poaching, that kind of thing. So cheers for this, John. Well, we see the main benefit of Employee of the Month is encouraging friendly competition among co-workers, which encourages friendly competition. Tasting notes: this beer has displayed outstanding commitment to our company's goals and values. You'll be sure to taste that. Eldorado hops. Would never have guessed that. Maybe there's a slight. Yeah, no, you say that there's a slight sort of dryness on the back end, maybe. Yeah, slight roughness, a little bit of sort of coconutty, maybe. Yeah, no additional adjuncts apart from lactose. Plenty of oats, I would say probably not enough oats in there. But again, that helps with that kind of sort of creaminess kind of thing. There we go. Best before end. Best before end 3/20/25. So this one's been sitting around a bit as well. I didn't realise that. I thought he bought me a freshie. He certainly bought me a freshie on the Hackney Church. But this one, yeah, got 7-8 months on it. This is a milk stout. They always put that on there. This is on the explanation of the beer. But yeah, I don't think either of these beers I was particularly meant to review as such. And because I don't look at cans and stuff, I just drink them. I don't know. If I did, maybe I wouldn't have put them up for a review. I probably would have just had a little quieter drink of them. You know what I mean? But this is the part of the fun of beer reviewing. It's the potluck. You never know what you're going to get. Fairly certain the next one's going to be all right. This one's all right, despite that nominal out of dateness. But you just never know. There's a little bit of alcohol legs on it. So yeah, there's nothing suggesting like out of date or wrong about it. So it's only been sitting in my stash since the summer, I'm sure. Yeah, definitely. The end of summer, whenever that wheat IPA came out. So I got that on the day of 3 days before it got released. But it's a stout, so I'll drink it and it's free. I always say about it's free beer, the best beer. When people ask me, it's like they say, what's the best beer you've ever had? I'm like, the best beer is free beer. which, you know, tongue in cheek, but it does kind of, you know, I don't get a lot of free beer. To be fair, doing this thing, I don't essentially do it for that. I did at the beginning. I did say to somebody, I am doing it for the free beer, but I was joking, really. If anybody wants to send me beer, I'm all ears. DM me on Instagram, I'll be fine. But yeah, I haven't solicited free beer. These beers have all just been given to me because people know I like beer, so I'm good with that. That's all fine. The fact that this is nominally, that wasn't a brewed on, was it? Was that a brewed on or best before? Yeah, best before end 0325. Oh well, what can you do? What can you do? What I can do, I'll have a quick look at. We'll have a quick look at. Pretty decent. Haven't looked at their website for a while, to be fair. With everybody else, a Black Friday deal. There's one thing right behind. If you can't get free beer, then discounted beer is all good. Yeah, so you see on the cans that they'll put this is a so and so on most of the cans. Plenty of pails and stuff like that. Oh, hey, there we right, yeah. So there we go. Employee of the month, 4% milk stout. Got a double version of it. Employees of the month for 8%. At some point, I will try that. Quite a lot of cartoony style stuff. There we go. There's I could get better in Tesco's for good. 4.5% session IPA. So see, they call it a session IPA. Harbour have called a 4.3% an IPA. But what's in the description? Yeah, apparently that came about because somebody said I could get better in Tesco's for £1. And they said, go on and have a go. And then called a beer after it. Yeah, nothing much more outstanding there. Yeah, well, why not? Easy to drink. Happily drink that. I wouldn't mind a pint of it up the tap room if I ever get over East London. Hello, kits. What are we doing? What are you looking for? Sorry, Dove Cup. Come on in. Come on in. She's waiting for a lap, as always. What can you do? Definitely too cold. It's been in the fridge, which I actually think is slightly warmer than the beer stash. I'm not going to wait and leave it to warm up because that carbonation is fair dissipated now, so it's just going to go a bit flat. Been a few months past nominal best before, but pretty decent. It's still pretty apt. I do like what they do. Again, it's not the brewery's fault that I've got a beer possibly past its best, but still good. There's a little bit of kind of fruit note in there, a bit of coffee bean kind of note going on. So yeah, all good, all good. So building up to the big finish, basically, such as it is. Then I did have somewhere to be at 10 o'clock. Not somewhere to be. I was just going to go and watch something over on Instagram, over on YouTube, rather. I'll tell you what that is in a minute. Yeah, I'm just going to bosh that back, really. There we go. And then we shall dive headlong into the third and a final beer, which is beer number 3, please. And beer number 3 is another 330ml can. We say tiny can, but they're not that much smaller than that, to be fair. And it is all the way from Belgium, fetched over for me. Well, not for me. Fetched over very kindly by my boss at work, Mike, who went with his wife over to Belgium for a few days. Back end of last month, beginning of this month. And they popped into a few breweries and taps, obviously. Let's call it research. Including this place called Brasserie du Borinage. And this is a beer called Fat Grisou. Not quite sure how to pronounce that, but Fat Grisou, a 12%, going big. Imperial Stout du Borinage. Not sure what Borinage means. I'll have to have a look that up in a minute, find out. But yeah, a big Imperial Stout, 12%, which is fine for a 330, to be fair. I suspect that's all going to be in Belgian, so I'm not going to be able to read any of it. Oh no. My bad. Apologies, Borinage. Brasserie de Borinage. I have made an error. It is, in fact, a lowly 11%. I have to change that on Instagram. Yeah, it's an 11% Imperial Stout de Borinage. Let's get it into the old Imperial Stout glass and see what we get. Having had a big one to finish last Thursday on the pumpkin beer stream with a 10.5% porter, is stepping up a little with an 11% stout. Let's get it to the bowl glass. Very Belgian-y kind of glass, this. Don't really know very much about Belgian beer, but that pours out nicely. Medium thickness, nice head development, slightly off tan-coloured head, although having said that, head development is dissipating fairly quickly, but you might expect that for a... No, I've poured too much out of that. So we shall just give it the old whizzo and do a normal. I wonder if Grisou means canary, because that looks like a yellow bird. So does it mean fat canary, do you think? I'll have a look up on the old interweb of things in a minute and find out what Grisou means. I keep saying Grisou. Grisou, not sure. If that works. No, that works. Right, there we go. I have a feeling, I wonder if this, because I put it up last week and it's been waiting a week, that YouTube hasn't really put it out to many people today. So not many people in, except of course the legendary Shark Homebrew and Adventure. Shark, how you doing, sir? Thanks for popping in. A little bit of a quiet stream tonight, a little bit of a small stream tonight, just some random beers that people have given to me. As it turns out, you'll be pleased to know, first two were bang out of date by several months. This one, I imagine, is bang in date. Plus, it's an 11% Imperial Stout. Picked up by my boss in Belgium last month. So it's going to be okay. The head is dissipated but easily reinvigorated. A little bit of alcohol legs there on not too much lacing, but a little bit of alcohol legs going on that for an 11% stout. Say, don't know too much about Belgian beers really at the end of the day, apart from the fairly mainstreamy stuff, like, you know. Yes, indeed, yeah. I get a lot out of it, but yeah, it's definitely there to watch and rewind. Just watch on fast forward. Fast forward all the silences where I'm just sitting thinking about beer. But cheers, popping in. And if anybody else is watching this after the event as well, do let me know what you're drinking whilst your company a brief watch. And do you do that fast forward thing and just like do it in 5-second batches? That's what I do on some videos, to be fair. And also what I do a lot is pause because my nose has gone blocked up again. I want to be able to sniff this one. Bear with. Well, it hasn't really helped, but there we go. All right. So yeah, 11% Imperial Stout. Cheers. Oh, I don't know. We're having a Belgian for cheers. It's one of the few I don't know. I know a few different versions of cheers. Can't think what it is in Belgian. Probably just like cheers. Well, there we go. Solid Imperial Stout. Doesn't particularly feel that 11%. Oh, there it comes. It's kind of a gentle wave coming across. A little bit of spirit edge. Feels like a, yeah, I don't know. Because it's Belgian, I'm thinking some kind of wine barrel or French brandy or something like that. Belgian brandy, I suppose. But yeah, nice spirity edge, not too large. Sort of kind of hot chocolate, kind of cold hot chocolate kind of note. Hey, kitty. You still waiting? Good girl. Hello. Just off camera. Yeah, Kits goes here. Waiting for the lap. Yeah, it's got a medium mouthfeel to it. Not too chunky, not too kind of cakey. Definitely a little bit of a hot chocolatey smoothness. Quite a lot of voluptuousness there. That alcohol is suddenly hitting. There's suddenly a big spirity edge going on now. Yeah, it's kind of quality French brandy kind of thing going on. There she is. Say hello, kids. Look. Hello. You've got a clear scan on, have you? Daft cat. Oh, that's a few shock. Yeah, lovely cat. Yeah, really nice. Imperial Stout, got that kind of spiritiness going on. It's kind of chocolatey. Not too much on the coffee. Kind of, yeah, that kind of. Yeah, nice kind of smoothness, a little bit of velvety kind of voluptuousness. It's not really thick, but it's obviously hasn't got a thinness to it. It's just, yeah, medium kind of note of kind of Imperial Stout. I think at the beginning of this kind of beer journey, I would often gravitate to Imperial Stouts, thinking, "Oh, it'd be amazing," and often I found them to be good, but nothing too exciting. It was just a good Imperial Stout. I like adjuncts in there and stuff like that. Mr. Wilson, good evening. Thanks for popping in. Hope you're doing okay. Having a great Monday night. Maybe got to be on. I'm fairly at the end of this brief sojourn into beers that have been given to me various peeps. This one's been given me by my boss when he little trip to Belgium. I got a couple of others that he brought back as well. Very kind of him. I didn't ask, but yeah, he thought I'd like these ones. Don't know if anyone's heard of this brewery, Brasserie de Borinage. I haven't until we went there, and he sent me a photograph. It turned out I had heard of this brewery. I'd heard of one of their beers. It was a kind of one of these like urban myth type of beers. Let's see if I can find it. Brasserie Jaipur X, 10% Jaipur. Have not had that for 6 years. I had it in a field in Derbyshire at a festival once, music festival. Yeah, 10%, 10% grapefruit pale ale. What shouldn't be my thing, but it's one of the few that I do, funnily enough, fine with. Yeah, the old nose is blocking up. This is not going to work well. Yeah, right now I talk about this brewery. Really, so this is the brewery website, right? Obviously, mostly in French or Belgian, Walloon. Not sure, but there's a brewery. There's a beer that he sent me. That I want to find out about. I should have uploaded a picture. I could have sent the picture, but it was just basically a picture of a pump clip. And the pump clip said urine, or as I read it, urine. And we all Googled it. I'm going to do it now. And there's this kind of urban myth about this beer that it's made from actual human urine. We can't work out whether it's true or not. It's not this beer, obviously, but it says it on the can, and I've seen this can about somewhere, I think. But my boss had a pint of this, and then he sent me the picture, and then I Googled it. No, that what you see there is a pearl. The urine is an ode to decomplexitude. What? Yeah. So, where was the thing I found? I sent him a picture and said, "Do you actually mean actual urine?" Oh wow. Um, I've not seen that one. Simon actually did it. I'm not going to play that. I'm going to go and watch that afterwards, though. Um, but yeah, would you drink a beer called urine? Um, that's one for. I would say that's one for Hopper because he's been doing a series of weird additive beers. Would you have bull's testicles and stuff like that? Um, but yeah, would you try a beer called urine? And does it have urine in it? Again, despite having a week. Well, yeah, I would try it, and indeed, my boss had a pint of it, and then he sent me a picture, and I said, "Have you Googled it?" And he went, "Oh, yeah." Um, should have uploaded a pic for this, and I forgot. See, when I Googled it, I actually found a thing that suggested it had been made with actual human urine. And then he Googled it and found a thing that suggested that was utter bollocks. Pardon the pun. Perhaps if you look in the right place. But yeah, piss water maybe. Yeah, I've had a few pints of piss water. Great, as always, can't find it. Right. It'd be great to have a chat. Did you enjoy the pretty decent beer? Yeah, I love the artwork, and I do want to try the double version, the 8%. I was having a look on the thing there. This particular can of pretty decent was given to me beginning of September, I think, and turns out it's out of date by 6 months. So it was a little bit not flat, but it wasn't at its best. Even though I say best before dates don't really matter. So I want to try it again, and I want to try the 8% version as well, the Imperial version. But yeah, no, sorry, I was just looking at my phone trying to find a photograph. That, despite the fact I was going to talk about this beer last week and haven't got anything sorted out about it, and then today just went too quickly and I nosed it up basically. But greetings, Mersey Beer. Thanks for popping in. I hope you're doing all right. Yeah, so Brasserie de Borinage. Have you heard about them? And have you seen their beer called Urine? Never rated anything. That's interesting. All the ones I've had, which doesn't number a lot, especially, in fact, one of their beers was my beer of the year. It's called Disco Nap. It's over there somewhere in a big bottle, 750. Yeah, got to get over there at some point. Won't be anytime soon, certainly not this year. But yeah, I quite liked pretty decent stuff. Generally, I sort of do and don't like that cartoony kind of artwork. But as long as the beers generally have been okay, the few I've had, say especially that brown ale, they did made with recycled bread products. Everybody was on that bandwagon, weren't they? But yeah, I tell you what, this one's hitting. This one's hitting at 11% now. Got that spirity edge going. A little bit of savouriness almost as well. A little bit of kind of dark bit of chocolate going on as well as some good kind of cocoa solids. Uh, there we go. 3rd of June 2027. So very much in date as you might expect for a current can of 11%. Yeah, no adjuncts as far as I can see. I'm not going to read. I wasn't going to read the French out, but the fourth word in is a name. It says Tous les matins, Johnny McMallet. Kind of want to know who Johnny McMallet is now. Can't read the rest of it. being in, I think, French. Belgium's funny because there's French Belgian and Belgian and Walloon and stuff, but tous les matins, Johnny McMallet descendait à la mine avec son canary. Right, so it's something about a canary. I immediately want to. Kitty, wait, just wait. I know it's terrible, but it's not about you. I immediately want to Google Johnny McMallet. I want to know who or what Johnny McMallet is. So I'm going to, because these things amuse me. Hope it's clean. And why does Johnny McMallet have a canary? No, Johnny McMallet doesn't appear to. There we go. Thank Grisou. Well, let's have a look at that whilst we're here. I see a bottle. So let's translate it in from the French. I don't know if you saw that, but that's the first time she's done that. Oh, you would have missed that. So, Mr. Wilson, your bag is cafe. Hello, kitty. That's been up there, what, 6 months? And as far as I know, that's the first time she's. I know cats love a bag or a box, but yeah, that's the first time she's done that. You all right, kids? Sorry, you're not getting enough attention. So you're going to be a dick. Well, there you go, David Wilson. Yeah. It's not just a pop. It's an actual, like, yeah, big up by Kitty for the disco bag. Kids go in the bag. The trouble is, kids, I have to sit like this so people can see you. At least she chose the disco bag. Yeah. I mean, she's got all the soft furnishings, got the sofa, got the cushions. And no, she has to be a dick. Oh, hello. Okay, so it says every morning Johnny McMallet went down into the mine with his canary. Oh God, I have to find out what the rest of it is about now, don't I? With 2 sun yellow eggs and his bowl of stout, a robust dark beer with powerful aromas of coffee and cocoa, reminding him of his native lands across the channel. Stout is for the tough, he'd say, pouring the egg yolks with a sharp gesture. One morning, as Jumap's rooster crowed, he was heard swearing, Fat diable cornes le poire estal. Suddenly a devastating explosion swept away McMallet, his bowl and his canary. This is on the side of the can, by the way. Yeah, and that's it. So still don't know who Johnny McMallet was. Anybody knows? Do let me know. That's worrying. Oh no, that's better. Yeah, so no idea who Johnny McMallet was, but yeah, he went down the mine with his canary. I wouldn't want to be taking an 11% stout down the mine. Could be dangerous. Wouldn't want to be operating heavy mine equipment or machinery with that. But there you go. But yeah, as Belgian beers go, not really necessarily known, I don't think, for Imperial Stouts particularly, although reasonable amount of high ABV beers. So solid one, that. Really solid. Oh yeah, so I had 3 Loud T-shirt, Better Beer in Tesco's for £1, and Le Duc. Yeah. Apart from that Disco Nut, I can't remember the other. I haven't had the Tesco one. I keep meaning to get hold of it, but it's only a session IPA, so I was never that bothered. I'll go back for the 8% version of that. Yeah, until I get across to East London. It's one I will look at because I generally the ones I've had have been pretty good. I thought, jeez, I haven't had them this year. I'd have to scroll all the way through Instagram. I was looking for something on Instagram today, and I scrolled all the way back to 2020. Geez, that was an experience. There was a lot of stuff on there. That was in 2020, a long time ago. Right. Yeah, really nice Imperial Stout. That pretty solid, fairly drinkable. Not massively heavy ABV for an 11%. Little spirity edge. You can definitely tell it's big. Good solid body on it. Not like cakey or gatto like kind of some Imperial Stouts can be, but kind of, yeah, cold hot chocolate, got some creaminess to it, got some sweetness to it, but it's also got some kind of slightly bittery dark edge of chocolate to it. Hercules Stout is probably the most knowledgeable Belgian stout. Yeah, that name sounds familiar. Yeah, I've got another one. I've got 3 other beers from Belgium that my boss picked up, so I'll find out those at some point. I could do an all Belgium stream at some point. I've got 3 different. Oh fuck! See my name, my brain. The one with the elephant. What's his name? I've got 3 different versions of that to do. I should do that all on one stream at some point. If I can remember the bloody name. It's going well, isn't it? God, what a terrible Monday stream this is. Right, so the reason. Yeah, delirium, that's it. Fucking madness. Fucking madness. Right, on that note, I'm gonna clock out. I'm away to another part of YouTube. Now I'm gonna go and watch the boys from How Ridiculous talking about madness. They're doing their first ever live stream, I think. If you remember a few years back I did a couple of videos about How Ridiculous, and I've been watching them ever since. They got like 15 million followers now, and they do all these stupid stunts, trick shots, and breaking stuff. So yeah, I'm off to watch them. I can't put a link in because I don't know where it is. I just have to go and find it. How Ridiculous over on YouTube. I'm going to go and watch them and yeah, contemplate the rest of this 11% stout from Belgium. Short stream tonight. Thanks very much for popping in, everybody. Hope you had a great Monday. Enjoy the rest of the week. No idea what I'm doing content-wise the rest of the week. Hoping my nose is going to unblock. But yeah, cheers, everybody. Yeah, I see that about doing some collaborations. So yeah, if anybody's up for that, I'm up for that. Yeah, it's a new thing. I saw it on vidIQ the other day. They were talking about that, whether it does any use or not, or does any good. But yeah, very interesting new development on that. Should do a video on it, but I probably won't. But yeah, thanks very much indeed for popping in for Monday night, Monday Club. Cheers and enjoy the beers. Right. Typically. Yeah, fair play. Let us know how it gets on. I'll watch that and see how it works. Yeah, cheers and enjoy the beers. Have a good one. And I can find the outro. Oh yeah, there it is. I put it up the top. Yeah, cheers all.